I knew something was wrong the moment I saw her smile. It wasn't the kind of smile you give your husband after 10 years of marriage. It was too careful, too rehearsed. The kind of smile you wear when you're hiding something and praying the other person won't notice. "Hey, you're home early," she said, setting down her phone just a little too quickly. "Yeah," I replied, tossing my keys on the counter. Meeting got cancelled. Our eyes met briefly. And in that split second I saw it. The flicker of panic, the subtle catch in her breath. You don't spend a decade with someone and not notice those micro-expressions. I didn't say anything. I just nodded and went upstairs to change. But something in me, the quiet part that always trusted her, felt a chill. That night I couldn't sleep. She lay next to me, her breathing steady, her body facing the opposite direction. I stared at the ceiling, my mind replaying the way she jumped when I came home, the way she turned her phone face down on the counter. For years, I'd believed in her without hesitation. We'd been through everything together. Losing my job, her father's death, the miscarriage we barely talked about. She'd held me through my lowest points, and I'd done the same for her. But lately she'd been distant. More makeup before girls' nights. Fewer texts during the day. And when I kissed her goodbye in the mornings, she'd flinch, like affection had become an inconvenience. I told myself it was stress. No. Maybe even depression. But now, as I stared into the dark, I couldn't help but feel it. The slow rot of suspicion spreading through my chest. The next morning she acted normal, too normal. "Can you grab milk on your way home?" she asked, smiling as she packed her lunch. "Sure," I said, pretending to tie my shoes. Her phone buzzed on the counter, lighting up with a name. Daniel. My stomach twisted. Daniel, her coworker. The one she barely talked to. She reached for the phone quickly, almost like instinct. I didn't say a word. I just watched her walk away. The echo of her heels tapping through the hall like tiny hammer strikes on my ribs. That evening I decided to test something. A small, quiet test. Just enough to confirm the voice in my head. I told her I had to work late on a client proposal. In reality, I parked 2 blocks from her office and waited. It was nearly 8 p.m. when I saw her come out. Not alone. Daniel walked beside her, too close for just co-workers. They laughed. He touched her arm. She didn't pull away. I stayed in my car, frozen, my hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. The world outside blurred. Headlights, rain, the echo of her laughter that once belonged only to me. Then I watched her get into his car. That was it. The confirmation I didn't want but somehow already knew. She came home around midnight, hair messy, cheeks flushed. "Sorry," she said. "The girls and I grabbed drinks after work." Smiled. That's nice. I was working late too. And she believed me without hesitation. That was the part that broke me the most. She trusted me enough to lie effortlessly. For the next week I said nothing. I acted normal, even affectionate. I kissed her forehead, made her coffee, asked about her day. But inside I was quietly pulling away, building walls where love used to live. And then one evening, she approached me with that same careful smile from before. "Hey," she said, "I want to try something, a loyalty test." I blinked. "Eh, what?" "Just a fun thing," she laughed. "You know those TikToks where couples test each other's loyalty? I thought we could do it for laughs." Her words hit me like ice water. Loyalty test. Of all things, she wanted to test me. How would that even work? I asked slowly. "Well," she said, twirling her hair, "I'd ask my friend to flirt with you. See how you respond. You'd probably fail just to tease me." She giggled. I forced a smile, though inside I was burning. "And what if I took it seriously?" I shrugged. "Then I guess I'd know where we stand." I looked at her for a long time. The irony was almost too much to bear. She thought it was a harmless game. But to me it was a final curtain call. The next day I made my move. I told her I'd be working from a cafe nearby. Instead I packed a small suitcase and checked into a hotel across town. I needed distance, space to breathe and think without the noise of my breaking heart. That night she texted me. Hey, you okay? Haven't heard from you all day. I didn't reply. The next morning, I left her a note on the kitchen counter. It wasn't angry or bitter. Just simple, quiet truth. You wanted a loyalty test. Consider this my answer. I saw you with Daniel. I saw everything. You don't need to explain. I'm not angry, just done. I loved you once deeply. But love without trust is just endurance. Take care of yourself. This isn't revenge. It's farewell. Then I left my house key beside the note and walked out the door. She called me 37 times that day. The first few I ignored. The rest I turned off my phone. When I finally checked my messages that evening, I found a string of panicked voicemails. Sobbing, apologies, confusion. Ethan, it wasn't what you think. I swear it was just dinner. You don't understand, it was supposed to be part of my loyalty test. That one made me stop. A loyalty test. I listened again. Her voice cracked between sobs. He was supposed to flirt with me to see if I'd tell you. I never meant for it to look like that. Ethan, please come home. I sat on the edge of the hotel bed. The note crumpled in my hands. My chest tightened with something between disbelief and sorrow. If she was telling the truth, then she'd staged everything, the laughter, the closeness, the secrecy, as some twisted test. But even if it had been a test, what kind of love needs proof through deceit? I realized then that it didn't matter whether she cheated or not. The trust between us was already dead, strangled by suspicion, manipulation, and the games we'd started to play instead of simply talking. She called again. Answered this time. Her voice trembled. Please, Ethan. I thought you'd see through it. I thought you'd laugh. I didn't laugh, I said quietly. I broke. There was silence on the other end. A silence that said more than any words could. I never meant to lose you, she whispered. You didn't lose me, I said. You tested me, and in doing so, you showed me exactly what we've become. 2 weeks later I filed for divorce. There were no dramatic confrontations, no shouting matches. Just paperwork, signatures, and the hollow echo of a life dismantled piece by piece. Friends called me brave. I didn't feel brave. I felt empty. Sometimes I replayed her voice in my head, the way she said, I love you before all this. I wondered if she meant it, or if it was just another part of the script we'd both been pretending to follow. But healing, I've learned, isn't about getting answers. It's about accepting that some questions destroy you more than the truth ever could. Months later, I ran into her by accident at a grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, tired, apologetic. We made small talk, polite, distant. As I turned to leave, she said softly, I really did love you, Ethan. Paused, then nodded. I believe you. But love isn't supposed to hurt this much. And with that I walked away. Not in anger, not in regret, but with a quiet peace that came from finally letting go. That night I sat on my balcony, watching the city lights flicker below. The air was cool, calm, the kind of silence that doesn't ache anymore. She thought it was a loyalty test. But for me it was a farewell. And maybe, just maybe, that was the truest test of all.